Hi and welcome to this review of the Witch's Wisdom Oracle cards. I haven't used them yet. I've had a look. I've opened the box. Very nice sturdy box. This box is a good box. It shows you many things around it and it's just a box. It's a good box though. So what else do we have in this oracle? We have a lovely book, Witch's Wisdom. So I made this book my own, and you can see it's now original. It's originally marked, and you can see that they have black and white pictures, what the name is, a little bit of a poem on there, and a description of what it is. So it's quite useful to read if you want to. Or you can just put the book away and look at the cards. So there's nothing to be feared about oracle cards, and there's nothing to fear about witches either. And I'll probably be doing a video on that. These cards are a lovely thick card with silver gilding, which makes it so beautiful. Look at that. I just love cards with these gilding. Oh, wow. Look at that. Wow. Right, my candle's gone out. That's no good, is it? So, I'll light you another one. And seeing as you're here when I'm lighting it, what I'm going to do is give you love and light and healing. I know it's purple, but hey ho. And also, I'm going to allow the energy to give you an understanding on the intuitive side as well. So first of all, that's silver. So it reminds you of the moon, doesn't it? This silver intuitive moon. So I'm not sure if these are in order, because as I said, I've looked at them. So each one is absolutely phenomenal. The artwork. So the Book of Shadows, or the Secrets. So the Book of Shadows, people may fear the Book of Shadows as being negative spells. But this is just a book of intention. Usually witches give out good intentions. So I will go in a deeper video on good intentions, bad intentions, karma, and the rest of it. But for now, we're just looking at these beautiful cards as an oracle with a pentagram on the back and beautiful pictures. So there's the secrets. So we have Fertility. So they have the name of the season, as in Beltane, being May. So they give, in a lot of witches, pagans and the rest, different zones like the Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, what is the time for you. But generally it's your springtime, your autumn time, etc. So to get this card in out of season just means it's fertility and that now you're going to have a birth. But it's always good to, if you've got this set yourself, maybe put this on your own altar, cleanse it, have this card up and really concentrate and have good intention on your own fertility. So that's a springtime card. So one of the favourite parts of being a witch is the cauldron. It's where you can mix your spices, essence oils, basils, herbs, anything like that. But some witches use the cauldron for diminishing spells, as well as making spells of love, money and all that. So this is the containment. This is where the magic happens. This is where the alchemy happens. So as you can see, that's a lovely analogy of a vessel. You are a vessel yourself, and what you contain could be magic. So what else? Well, this is the Chalice. of fulfillment. We all know this is like the Ace of Cups. And when you can make certain spells like love potions that you might want to share with a loved one, this is a good thing to have your own chalice and drinking out of it, whatever chalice you want to use. I actually did a lot of readings with some chalices. I have, I don't know if you can see this one, a fish one. You can use anything really. But it's just a nice cup that you like really. But depending on what you like, you can have a gold one, silver one, if you're rich enough. But this is just signifying yourself again, and all the love that can be in there. But when you mix love potions, or what that is for you to drink or your partner. What else have you got? So you've got the air and the imagination. So as you know, the air is one of the elements that we always need in our life, standing for imagination. But you can see here the witch is on the weather vane. So that will spin round and round depending on what direction you're going. So this does use a lot of imagination and a lot of elements and directions. If you work with Feng Shui, you'll know that directions are very, very important. Which direction you're sitting, which direction are you sleeping, and all the rest of it. So that is an important card to have. They're all important, but so we have the ritual and the innovation. Rituals are very important. We do that without thinking every day. We have the ritual of brushing our teeth. We have the ritual of, I don't know, whatever your personal individual ritual is. You will be doing rituals throughout the day. You don't have to be a witch. You don't have to own this set of oracle cards. Believe me, you're doing a ritual. So this is good. But when you have the intention behind rituals, it adds the magic. So intention and ritual brings about the alchemy, which brings about the change, which brings about the magic within your life. So another good oracle card to use. So you will find a lot of oracle cards do have similarities to a tarot deck. They try to stay pretty close to those kind of aspects. So you'll have this as the death. You'll have this as Halloween, where a lot of religions and a lot of cultures celebrate Halloween, and the Mexicans really like the Day of the Dead. So it's really a blessing to honour people who have died, and death is very, very important. And after all, we ourselves as humans are dying every single day. So we're not a stranger to death at all. It's just a change of status. But it does mean something different here. It means out with the old, in with the new. So you can see that light. So to bring light into your life after death is very important. What else have we got? Aha. So now we have an oracle card of the Scrying Mirror and the Shadow. So is it any wonder that we have all this fantasy fiction about mirrors and what we see in them? Because it reflects the disillusionment, the illusions, and maybe a bit of a reality that we see within our mirror. So the Scrying Mirror is an interesting tool for people who want to see their future, maybe see a more real of themselves. There is a way to do this without a mirror. You can do it with your cauldron or your magic bowl and have moon water in it, and then you can scry and see the future or see what you want to see in that particular time. When I used to read a lot of books, I did read, I don't even know which one it was, it's like decades ago, and I think it was in a science class. The science teacher decided to teach all its students how to scry in a crystal ball. I said it's easily done. So it is achievable. You don't have to be a psychic or a tarot reader or an oracle reader or have a magic mirror. You just need to let go of vision and stare into a reflective surface to be able to see visions. So you can do that if that's your calling. The spell. Wow. Manifestation, spell, and spell. So we've all done spells without even knowing it. They could be negative thought patterns. They could be affirmations of negativity or even positivity. But usually it's negative, because the humans are very comfortable with negativity affirmations. Oh, I'm never going to get a job. Oh, I'll never get a relationship. Oh, the time's not right. So you're actually putting a spell on yourself because you've got the belief behind the spell. So this is why we're taught, be very careful what you ask for, because the universe does give it to you. So the spell is a little bit different, but basically the same. So we'll have a look at that later on. Spells. Spirit and initiation. So with spirit, you don't have to go through a belief system. You don't have to go through a religion. You just have to know, perhaps, that spirit is around. It lies within us all. It lies everywhere. So it can be meaning two things as well. Oh, you have the spirit to continue, and that means that you have the determination to carry on. But the spiritual journey and the divine journey of spirit is to connect back to the divine source and divine love. And the only way it can do that is through the spirit. So the spirit has to go through many, 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 many lifetimes, sitting there with the soul. And, you know, when the soul has realised, hey, it's about time I tapped into that spirituality. I've heard enough of this. Why don't I do it? And the spirit goes, whee, yippee. Because the spirit can't do anything without the soul. So it's just waiting. So you will find along different eras on the planet, there will be an initiation. So that's just opening up the crown chakra to allow that spiritual energy to enter. So the spirit can go, yippee! So that's important. So the staff. So the staff and stability are interesting, aren't they? Because without a staff, you wobble around. If you're walking through your journey of life, you will need that staff that's comfortable as a walking stick. So that brings us stability. But what does bring stability on another aspect is the creativity and the endeavour to go forward. And once we know where we're going, that is stable. We've made that decision. We've used that aspect to go on. So the staff will support you, and it is your backbone of your creative journey and your stability in groundedness, especially using different staffs of different pieces of wood. So depending on what coven, which is the witches, the pagans or whatever, you could use different ones. And I'm sure you can investigate that. Or, you know, sometimes you might be walking through a wood or a forest and you see this wonderful branch. Pick it up. My husband always does that when we're abroad or whatever. It gets me a branch off the floor and here, use that as a walking stick. And off I go. It's just quite amazing. So you can find it. But it'd be nice to bring it home, wouldn't it? And put it with jewels and crystals and runes and all the rest of it. So maybe if you get this card when you have this deck and you get the staff, maybe it's telling you to make your own little magic wand, your own staff, and make it personal. It could even be a kind of good luck charm in your journey through life. So if you put that intention to it, I use this staff that I've created to help me move through the journey of my good intentions and good intentions of all on my career path, my relationship, and the goodwill of all. So that's something you might like to think about. See, these cards have got more than meets your eye. So we have tarot cards and guidance. So here's a Celtic cross, if you know anything about tarot. This is one of the widely taught spreads and has been very, very useful throughout the decades. and throughout the what do you call it, centuries. It's been used that long. So it is a good way of finding a little bit of guidance. And, you know, even if you don't have a tarot deck, you can have this oracle on your altar and treat it with respect and guidance, because even having an oracle deck is good enough. You don't necessarily have to have a tarot deck, but if you do, you know how special that is. So I don't need to tell you any more about that. What else do we have? The altar. So the altar is for dedication. Your altar is to make that special place that can kind of be like that worship place in your house, in a special space just for you, and can be an analogy of yourself and where you're at on your spiritual journey. So usually it's very much like the magician. On your altar you will have a cup, you will have a knife, a pentacle, and they've got your book of shadows and your candles, air, fire, water, wood. Did we say wood? Well, I've got this as wood, I suppose. But yeah, you've got everything there, that's all the elements. And then there's incense, which is spirit. And of course you'll have your crystals and whatever you want. It's very individualistic. And they've got some guards there. Looks like a man guard, a woman guard. So it's about fertility, abundance, and all the rest of it. It just depends what you're trying to manifest in your life. But the altar is very, very important. Should be kept clean, should be kept recharged and honoured. So that's important for witches. A magic circle. So the magic circle of protection. So this is vitally important. Do you know you do this every day? You probably live in a house, and then subconsciously that is your protection. You probably have keys, locks, doors, windows, roofs, walls, and that's a kind of a physical protection. But we also protect ourselves with our friends, with our workplaces, and it's one of the most important things to survive, to protect oneself. But for the witch, the pagan person, for the spiritual initiate, it's kind of looking at spiritual protecting themselves from unwanted, just anything unwanted. So witches will often use salt, and that is a good form of protection because it does suck up negativity. So putting that by your windows, by your doors, around yourself is always a great cleanser and also a great repeller of unwanted thoughts and what have you. So that's important too. So what else do we have? The moon and the cycles. Well, we all know what the moon does, and we all know cycles. So no further explanation. Right, where are we? So now we have, oh goodness grief, that time of harvest where we have that prosperity. They often make, pagan people and village people often make good luck charms of this year's harvest to go into next year's harvest. So that this is a form of making the dollies are called. And it was a very important practice. So you might like to research that. And you've all seen little dolls made of straw and things like that. So it is kind of still within the witches, because it's talking about binding, knotting, and all those aspects that are very important if you're going to do a spell for yourself, for good luck, for good fortune, for love, and all the rest of it. So that was an art that was used by the village folk, not just witches. So we have mob on now and balance. So you'll see this is very much like the temperance card, or justice, or magician, or whatever you believe it to be. It is. So we have balance here in this particular picture of the ending and the beginning, or the beginning and the ending. So we all need the yin and the yang. We all need the death to make way for the new. So balance is very, very important to people. What have we got next? The Pentacle. And what's that? Respect. Yeah. So what is the Pentacle? We all know that is the it's like on coins, isn't it? But it's a symbol of man itself and spirit. So this is why the Pentacle has been used by people who want to connect with spirit, apart from Hollywood being over dramatic of what this really means. So it is a symbol of man. Everyone recognises that. You can see it's a star of hope. Just look up star in any religion, any kind of whatever, and you'll find stars mean many, many things. And you can see the flames in each one of the points. This is important as well. It's all the directions. You can look 5. 5 is one of those Archangel Metatron kind of things with the maths. And you cut an apple and you'll see 5. There's a lot of 5 in nature. So it's not just man, it is a very precious number, and it's fun. It could have been a 6, the star could have been 6-sided, but no, 5-sided. Earth, wind, fire, water and spirit. You can look at it like that, or you can look at it many other things. It depends on you. You're the boss. These are your cards. Well, these are mine, but you buy your own. The affiliate links down below. So yeah, so it is a sign of respect that we have to respect all things in nature, and we need to respect ourselves above all, and that of others, and just respect in general. So I think that's sadly missing in 2020. I don't know how long this video is going to last. It might be 30-30 now. Who knows? Let me know. Right, so now we have our familiars. And this is the guardian. Does that say guardian? Guardian, yeah. It's a cat. And a frog. 2 of the things I love. How can you not go wrong with that? All they needed was a horse, and they'll be made for life. So you can see on this particular cat, they're wearing the Pentacle. So that's really good. And the frog stands for many, many things, depending on your different culture. Some people think they're lucky, some people think they're not. So depending where you are on the planet, that can mean different things. But all in all, you can see the star here on the cat, and that means that it stands for psychic abilities. So it's usually black, which is like a black cat, which is a very yin thing. So it's about all being hidden, that holistic hidden side of things will bring the magic. So when people don't understand X, Y and Z, they fear it. So this is why a lot of witches just persecuted. Maybe they gave you some sort of garlic and honey with a bit of lemon juice and said, here, have this tonic, and you got better from the plague or better from a cult. Oh, why is everyone dying? This person gave this person a tonic. Must be a witch. Burn at the stake. Really useful, isn't it? Right, what are we going on now? So we've got the hearth here and the homecoming. The hearth is the heart of the house. It's where the fire is. So where you've got fire, you've got intention. Where you've got intention, you've got, manifestation. So the world, the planet that you live on is inside. That is that core, that heat. So everything happens from heat. You think about it, you were created from heat, from friction. So the homecoming is the hearth, it is the centre, it is where a lot of men in the old days, they stood by the hearth, very proudly, this is my home, this is my kingdom, I am the boss. So the hearth does have a lot of implications, but the general witch can make a lot of things through heat, a lot of the potions, a lot of the spells, so it is important to have that. What next? Hand fasting. Right, so this is still done in some cultures, where they fasten your hands together once you've got married. So yeah, it is happening. I went to a wedding and it happened. So it just means one union, and it is a very good card to actually have if you're thinking of being bonded for life. For life. Someone get a pair of scissors, maybe. Oh dear. So we have candles. Yeah, a lot of candles can be homemade, so you can, while you're making them, you can have your own intention put in them. Easily done candle making. It's great fun to do so. And this is where the magic is formed. So yeah, candles. We all love candles in this day and age. It's a wonderful business. So yeah, get to it. Candles. Fire. So here we have the passion, the fire. This is definitely needed, and you can see in this particular card that it's the phoenix rising. So when I think that is finished now, we need the fire to move away everything so the phoenix can rise and the new plants can come about. So that's very, very important, to have that fire. Without fire, we have no action. Without action, the thought just falls out of our brain. No longer needed. So now you have Yule and rebirth. So this is Christmas time, when the leader of the house, whatever, brings in a Yule log and puts it on the hearth fire. And it just means that in the dead of winter, in the darkest night, we bring light to us for another year to come, because light always follows darkness. So it's a good luck charm, but it also means there will be light, and where there is light, there is information, guidance, spirituality, and good luck. So in the colder winter, we have that time to reflect on what has gone, regrow, and then rebirth. Next card we have for you Witch's Cottage and security. A bit like the protection, this is the security. We all need to feel secure in where we live. So the protection that we give, this is our own individual aspect, how we want our homes to look. Even though some of us might not have enough time to look at that, it's still where we feel the most safest, or should do. And if you don't, then please make some steps into finding out why you're not secure where you are and rectifying that, because this is all about self-empowerment. So if you're not feeling secure in your own home, then one needs to look at that, because it is the basis of the Maslow triangle. A witch. And what a witch means here is a healer. It always did mean a healer. So it's only Hollywood that made the ill intentions. And then, you know, fear will always cause, oh, look at that gypsy witch or whatever. They're selling their little lavenders for profit, and why they're doing that. And if you don't buy my heather, you're going to have bad luck. So you can see how witches have got a general bad name. Witches, gypsies, all the rest of it. But generally, they're into healing, and always have been, because they're connected to the earth cycles, the earth nature, and how nature does heal humans, as well as animals and spirit. So nothing to be feared of there, except if you're writing a good sci-fi or Hollywood. So we have the Wiccan Reed, which is the ethos. So here you'll probably see your own ethos, depending on what sort of club or coven you belong to. You know, there are different witches out there, different breeds of witches. But, you know, as long as you come from good, have good intention for yourself and others and the good of all intended, then that's a very good ethos to actually believe in. It's getting back to nature, really, instead of using false drugs, chemicals, whatever. The witch's hat power. Well, Hollywood has gone to town on this one. If you can see the shape of the witch's hat, it is very much like a spire of the church, and all spires lead to the heavens, where they think heaven is. So it's aspiring to bring your spirit closer to the God force. That's all it is. That's all it signifies. It's up to the individual if they want to put their symbols on it. It's absolutely fine. If they want to consecrate it and kind of put magic on it, that's also fine. But yeah, it's just a hat at the end of the day. But it signifies aspiring to the God force as a natural healer. Water, cleansing. Don't need to say much about that one too. Watchtower of the West and autumn. This is a season which is an analogy of letting go of what's no longer needed and nourishing ourselves for the future. So it is a very important season, and just allow that season to happen, and kind of get ready for the rest and reflection month ahead. The Watchtower of the North, winter. This is the time to reflect, rest, meditate, and really take stock of what it is like being throughout the year. Looking at things that we can do different, looking at the rebirth. It's a time to be grateful, perhaps, that you're in a warm place, because no one likes the cold winter. And Watchtower of the South and summer. Wonderful. This is the innocence of the year. This is when fulfillment happens. This is where everything is bright and light, and we're all in a positive mood, and many things can happen in the summer. So enjoy that. And finally, the East Tower, spring. What a lovely time. Love spring. Oh, it's just magical. Spring is where the hope comes. Spring is where the fertility and the romance happens. So very important. So I don't need to tell you about spring. Homeland and the foundation. Very, very important to look at our roots, our ancestors, and what we mean and what can we mean to the future generations. So this is very important. Our home, where we live, our country, respect. And the Hex Punishment. So this is where we get a little bit into naughty witchcraft. So I'm not going in a lot about that yet. Look out for the next video. Also, a high priestess and a high priest. This is responsibility. It is with responsibility that we need to be careful of what we're teaching. Be careful of not to generate fear in people. It is responsible to empower people to be responsible for their own lives. And this is why witchcraft can be a little bit, well, the same with anything. Anything in life can have its ups and its. There's always two sides, at least two sides. So being responsible in life, but doing no harm to yourself and doing no harm to others, is a very good ethos to actually follow. So now we have Astara is the incubation. This is the incubation period where everything is born of the earth. So a very important time to grow Astara. And now we have the Cloak of Concealment. Wow. So when you look at things, witches were mainly female. Witches were generally maybe wives, and they used to try to drown wives who were over chatty, over naggy, over everything. And so, some of the times one witch or wife had to go to another house, and so the Cloak of Concealment was very important because it didn't want to be seen moving from place to place. So generally they did go at night, generally they did use a cloak. It's not about being invisible or anything like that. It's having common sense. Don't let people see you going curing your sister who lives in the next village. It's as simple as that, folks. Do I sound bitter? Oh dear. Right. Broomstick Clearance. So you can have a little broomstick to clear away your altar, or you can have a large broomstick. Some people fly on the broomstick, but I think that may be to do with certain mushrooms that the witches has been collecting along their journey in the autumn. But I could be wrong. Please write to me on the postcard or in the comments down below. So we have the Athame. This is the sword that witches have. And so this is the boundaries. So the Athame is important. It doesn't have to be a big knife. It can be a small one. It can be a crystal one. It's just a little thing to cut little herbs up or things like that. It's not for use for any ill intent. Don't get us wrong. So, ancestors. Well, we all know how that is so important. Without them, you and me would not be here. And they've made many sacrifices, as we discussed here, about drowning, burning, all sorts of horrible things that went on in our past throughout the ages. Here I am, sitting here. I'm not claiming to be a witch. I'm just claiming to be a person who's understanding more about things. I'm just using an oracle deck. I'm not saying I'm a witch. I'm not a witch. Or am I a witch? Do make a comment down below. That's at least 2 comments I've got for this video. Woohoo! Right, so a wand. So this is the intention, and it directs your force into another force. So it's a direction and intention, and as we just discussed before, it depends on what wood you want to use, can further enhance your spell of that particular spell. So the wand is can be a thing of beauty, can be a thing of Hollywood as well. So good on Hollywood. But yeah, it's just one of those things. The Herbal Kitchen and the Alchemist. Well, don't need to say much about this other than binding some ingredients on your altar can make a good polis, can make a good spell, can make incense, can do all sorts of things. If you're a herbalist or an alchemist, or even a witch. Right. Lord and God, the masculine. Wouldn't be here without a masculine or a feminine, because everything down here is in duality. But the guard force is a unity, so it doesn't really have a masculine, it just is. But down here in the duality, we do see God as masculine because it's fire, and which is the creation, which comes from fire. Energy, vibration, light and sound. So this is important with anything, because without it, we've got to have that belief, we've got to have that power of the love factor, to have that intention to be able to move through our life. Don't have to be religious or spiritual to get that. Right, so the intensification is with Litha, and this is important to understand a little bit about astrology and a little bit about the power of who we are. So this is why it's important to know about ethos. That was very important. Do no harm to yourself or to others. Love yourself and love others for the highest good and your highest good. So this becomes intensified when we have those rituals in place, when we have the understanding of bringing down power. So, Lady and Goddess, the feminine. Well, we all need the yin to go inside, and what is inside is a lot of beauty, a lot of insights into how we can manifest what we do want. So everything does happen inside, and this is why, in a way, are females more powerful than guys? Is that feminine power more important to realise what is in the inside is also on the outside? But we need both. When we're in duality, you need both. You can't ignore the other for the other, because it just doesn't work like that. So we have to accept all of ourselves. So whatever sex you are, or whatever you identify with, it's very important to have both. Right, Embolic. This is the awakening stage. Awakening to who we are. Finally opening up to the God Force. And that's what all witches kind of do. They're trying to tap into a God Force that will give them the intention to create in their life what they need to intend. And the last one, guys, is where you live, the earth. And that's grounding. Even though a lot of witches fly on their broomsticks, it's so important to be grounded, because without it, then that's when the danger becomes apparent. That's when we lose ourselves, we lose our intentions, we lose who our self is. And if we're not grounded, we're not being in nature, and we're not being into that side where we need to be able to be a full witch, which was just being in tune with nature and allowing the goodness to come almost like a shortcut. So yeah, there you go. So what do you think? Very nice pack. So there's a lot of meanings in there, and you could do a full reading with that. You really could. So I hope you enjoy it. I mean, you know, like you can do past, present, future, or what do I need to know today, all sorts of things to help you on your healing journey. So yeah, any questions? The affiliate link is down there if you want to press that and go straight to Amazon and give my channel a little bit of a boost. Not a lot of a boost, but I do appreciate if you want to buy these cards through my affiliate link. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and we'll see you soon.